Welcome, everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, and I have LD here with me, and you're watching the paranormal. Nope, not the paranormal. Wow, I am really out of it today. Glenda's Dragon's Den. The Paranormal Dolls is my other show, people. You could also catch that. So just go to my
If
YouTube.
if I'm on the paranormal dolls, we got bigger problems.
That's true. That's very true. So now that you know I am completely out of it
Excuse
today.
me. If I'm on the paranormal dolls, we've got bigger problems. And now for something you'll really like.
Oh, dear Lord. This is out of control already. All right. We have a great guest, AJ Capasso. How are you?
How are you guys? How are you guys?
Doing really good. Just out of it today.
And I'm the
Love
yang to that.
Love it. Love it.
So tell us about yourself.
Well, my name's AJ Capasso. I run Talking with the Source, which is an international paranormal podcast where we bring on well-known and local researchers from all around the world to basically present evidence and to talk about their experiences. We also bring on mediums and everything along those lines. And I'm also a paranormal investigator for Coventry Circle Paranormal, which I started back in 2016. And other than that, that's a little bit about myself.
Okay. All right. So what made you get into the paranormal?
Well, as I got older, I realized the paranormal kind of followed me since I was a child. But what really got me into the paranormal was I was addicted to heroin. I got addicted to opiates from a pain doctor that I fractured a vertebrae in my back, which led to me partying and getting into the wrong crowd. I ended up getting into heroin, and I ended up overdosing 12 times, and my heart stopped. I was dead 12 times. But the last time that I had this overdose, I left my body. I saw my body. I ended up going through this, what I would call tube, but it was like hyperspace. And as I was going through it, I was getting like a slideshow picture event really quickly of a review of my life. But it wasn't just like a review of my life, it was a review of like the beginning of creation till the end of my time. And then all of a sudden it opened up into this beautiful vast area that I can only describe to people as like an untouched area somewhere in the Canadian wilderness where no humans go. It's the most beautiful place in the world. I mean, it had the most beautiful colors, the most beautiful flowers. I mean, the colors, I can't even tell you how vibrant they were compared to what we have here on Earth. And then all of a sudden, I was approached by this being that was just pure white light. I couldn't look into it because it was so bright. And I heard a voice telepathically talk to me in a deep voice and say, "It's not your time. You're not supposed to be here." And before I could ask a question to find out where I even was or what I was doing, I got sucked back down this tube of hyperspace. And that's when the paramedics shocked me. And when they shocked me, I sat up and I got extremely nervous because I didn't know where I was. I thought I was still in this place, and they thought I was crazy until I started to tell them a little bit about what they were talking about when I was pronounced dead. And then they were kind of freaked out a little bit. And after that, I started to have experiences at my house, experiences with myself. Started to feel energy, started to feel things in the room, and then we started to get very bad activity at the house. And I just didn't understand it. I thought I was, mentally messed up, you know.
Hmm. So after those experiences, how did you get to the point that you realized that you were just seeing beings?
It took me a little while. I ran from it for a little while. It took me about, I would say, a couple years before I started to understand, like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm seeing. I did a lot of research. I went to a lot of doctors. The first thing I did was went to a lot of doctors and got brain scans because I thought maybe the drugs had messed me up or, something along those lines. And, end up luckily getting clean. And I started doing research. And when I did, I, started to realize that I wasn't the only one that had these type of experiences. And then I started to look more into it and started to, look at the science behind it between energy and frequency and vibration. And then I went, down those lines, and I got into the paranormal, obviously seeing it on TV and seeing what I could do, how to get into it, and doing research on that. And then, I did my own research and was like, you know what, this is all hogwash. Let me do my own and see if I can get anything. And, I ended up getting stuff. And then I was like, well, I guess this isn't hogwash. I guess there's something to it. So, you know, other than that, but
Which is not to say a lot of it isn't hogwash.
no, a lot of it isn't.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to be careful.
Yeah.
Um. So, I'm sorry. I have allergies, a cold, something. So,
That's something, all right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Live witnessing and beating up. Anyway.
Could only help the ratings.
Oh, God, dear Lord. So, did you go out and get equipment, or were you just using yourself as the equipment, the tool?
Well, as the activity started in the house, I did start to buy equipment. I went online, obviously. I went to good old Ghost Stop and picked up a bunch of equipment. And then I went and got, obviously, digital cameras and all this type of stuff to record and whatnot, and to capture this stuff that was happening in the house. At least I was hoping to capture a lot of it in the house, and I was able to with spirit boxes, but a lot of the video evidence that I wanted to capture would happen at times where, it just wouldn't. It always would happen when I didn't have it set up. Always.
It's like they're
Always.
intelligent.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like you're dealing with a real human being, and they know, and it's the truth. We are dealing with intelligent souls.
Right.
If you listen, you can hear the ah!
Yep, yep.
And that's why it's great to have security cameras. They
I know.
capture it all the time.
Yep. Please excuse my dog. My dog's barking right at the moment.
It's okay. It's, it's probably saying, "Yeah, exactly. See, I told
Yeah,
you."
I know. I've been telling you for how long? Yeah, I know.
Your dog doesn't scare me. Her bite is worse.
Oh, that's gonna cost me. Uh, wow. All I know is, so, um, what made you start the paranormal group?
What made me start the paranormal is what you said?
Yep.
Well, from that experience, I knew that there was more. And one of the biggest things that came to mind when I started the paranormal was not just my experience, but also my grandmother. We had lost my grandfather already, and in 2012. And I realized that if there's a way to communicate with the other side, I want to have a relationship with my grandmother far after I can.
Mhm.
And I thought to myself, let me try and get into this. Let me see if it's real, and do all this stuff. And that's what really got me into the paranormal. And then from the activity in the house, I was getting voices coming through. I was getting, we were having things happen where pictures would fly off the wall at the house. I mean, it was really intense. It got to the point where I saw an apparition in my room in the middle of the night when me and my girlfriend were sleeping. I had woken up, and I thought it was her walking out of the room to go and, basically go to the bathroom. So I was going to roll into her spot to piss her off. And, when she came back in, she was going to be mad, and I was going to pretend like I was sleeping just to be an idiot. Well, I ended up rolling into her, And I realized, oh my God, that wasn't her getting up. And then a few weeks later, we saw this being at the foot of my bed when I woke up. And then my whole family ended up witnessing this apparition a couple weeks later. And we realized that, you know, there was more to this. And then I got into the paranormal by buying, like I said, buying the equipment and started to investigate the house and started to investigate my surroundings. And then I started to go to other places. Like I went to Montana State Prison, and that was an amazing experience.
Mm.
So,
So let me bottom line this. Before your NDE,
mhm.
is it fair to say you were somewhat self-focused? You were like YOLO?
I was self-focused. You're right. I was more focused on my addiction, myself, my what I wanted in life. And after that, now,
Now you had a
I'm not.
paradigm shift.
Yeah, I've done an absolute 180 shift. You're right.
So how do you reconcile people that are where you were, that, you know, refuse to understand the connection that binds us all? What do you say
I'm
to them?
sorry. Say that again.
How do you manage the people that are where you were and explain to them the connection that binds us all? Because, you know, you can't have it both ways. You can't be self-focused and at the same time have this new paradigm awareness that, yeah, it's not about me, it's about us.
Yeah. Basically, you know, what I try to relay to people is, you know, if a person isn't ready to give that life up, they're not going to give that life up. But the only thing you could do is plant a seed and hope that that seed keeps getting watered. And I believe once we plant a seed in somebody, I believe it does keep getting watered. And hopefully, if my dog would stop barking, hold on one sec.
No, the
Moose,
the
stop.
dog's fine.
Sorry.
The
Anyway,
dog's fine. Dog can be on
I
the show
can't.
if you want.
Yeah, I know. I can't. I'm having a hard time hearing you guys, so I feel bad. But
It's okay.
anyway,
I'll speak up.
no, yeah, sorry about that. But
That's okay.
anyway, what I was gonna say was, you know, you plant a seed in somebody, and you basically, I treat them with love, you know, and that's all I can do. And if they're ready to move on and understand more, then I'm willing to obviously teach them and show them what I've learned. But if they're not, unfortunately, I can't, you know, and that's the one hard part about life, you know.
And what do you do with someone who says that they are where we are, that, you know, they accept the paranormal, and, you know, they understand that there are other dimensions or whatever, and yet they hold on to the YOLO. They hold on to, hey, it's all about me, and as long as I have the most toys when I die, I win, and all that stuff. What do you say to
Yeah.
those people? What do you think of them?
Um, you know, I mean, we are all on our own path, and I unfortunately there's not too much I could say to them. Unfortunately, I hope that spirit will show them that there's more in life than just the physical material things that we have here. That's the only thing I can hope for. But I mean, you know, we're all on our own path. So who knows? We're all individuals. We all have our uniqueness and we are all here for different reasons. So it's kind of hard to tell them things, you know, it's kind of hard to.
Hmm. And you were saying that you saw all the stuff in your house and all that. Did you ever find out who they were? Or
To be honest, no, I didn't. I personally thought that there was a portal in my house because it would be different spirits constantly coming in through the spirit box.
hmm
I have videos on my YouTube with it, and it's like weird. They would come, like, not the same person would always come through. Like I would get a name, and then the next night I would come, it'd be a different name. Now, do I know if they're the same spirit just messing? I have no
hmm
idea, of course. You know, I don't
hmm
know who exactly I'm talking to, but it seemed and it felt different.
mm, okay. And now you moved out of there, I gather.
Yep.
And did it follow you, or
I thought it was going to, and the reason why is because the house was a very negative environment,
Mhm.
just in itself, not including the people that were in it, but the house was negative as it was, and I thought it was going to follow me. But the minute that I got out of that house, my whole entire life shifted. Where I wasn't depressed, I was more happy again. So I realized whatever was in the house was definitely a negative energy that was dragging my energy down.
Mhm. Yeah, it's kind of like some type of an energy vampire, for lack of wording.
Yeah,
Uh, is feeding off you, and probably your life is probably, if you're still with that same girl, probably changed and a little less chaotic. At least even if you remain friends or whatever. Because I know that a lot of the times when we move out of a situation like that, not only does it shift for personally, but it shifts for all the relationships that are around.
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Unfortunately, me and her are no longer together, but she has a child now. She has a family. She's happy. I mean,
Right,
I'm happy. So it worked out, tremendously. I mean, I actually had to make her leave the house because it started to affect her very badly, to the
right.
point to the point where one night I woke up and she was rocking back and forth in Indian style right next to my head where my pillow was,
Hmm.
and we were in pitch darkness, and I got up and I turned the light on, and she's rocking back and forth Indian style looking up at the ceiling, and she has no recollection of doing this. And it
Oh,
freaked me out so much that I was like, I called her mother and I'm like, she has to move out right now. Whatever's in this house really is affecting her. And it got really bad at the house. It got really bad, and I believe that it was because of the negative energy from all of us in the house, the fighting, the yelling. I think that we created this energy that was just so negative that it would just attack the weakest person, whatever was there. And there's days where I remember just sitting there like crying for no reason, thinking that I was just a worthless piece of garbage for no reason. And I feel like energy really plays a huge part in a lot of this, especially with the paranormal. So,
hmm, definitely. It creates the chaos so it can feed off you.
yeah.
And it also has a lot to do with the wolf you feed.
Yes, exactly.
So,
Uh-oh.
I know. I'm waiting. I am waiting. I could see those wheels turning. Um, when you started your podcast,
Yeah.
um, was that inspired by the house or just your
Um,
change?
no, it's a funny story. I graduated from Connecticut School of Broadcasting,
Hmm.
and during my time at Connecticut School of Broadcasting, our midterm was podcasting. And I was such a natural in front of the camera that my teacher was so impressed that he was like, "Well, listen, you do the paranormal. I run a podcast, distribution type business.
Hmm.
Why don't we start a podcast where you talk about your experiences from each location you go to, and I'll sponsor it with my company and I'll get you out there and get you downloads?" Well, at the end of the year or the end of my semester, he helped out all four other students and wouldn't answer any of my calls, wouldn't answer my messages. So I got so pissed off that I was like, you know what? Screw him. I'm going to do it myself. I'm starting my own podcast. And I did it. And it was a joke. It was a complete joke. It was just me mad at this person. And then all of a sudden, I met Robin, and Robin took it to the next level. He was contacting people that were famous, and we were getting them on. And, now a year later, it's like, where we've grown has been exponential. And I can't thank him enough. I can't thank, the scenario, and I can't even thank the teacher enough for pissing me off, you know? So it worked out.
So basically, he gave you the power. He
Yeah.
empowered you to do what you needed to do.
Yep, by ignoring me. Yep, he empowered me by ignoring me. Yes, it was great. It was great.
Hmm?
It
Good.
was great. Yep.
So
Take a
so make a note. Don't ignore AJ.
yeah. Yeah. Yep. Oh man.
You're bad.
Oh, too funny.
Uh,
I got
uh,
my hands full with you.
Oh no.
me?
You're
Yeah.
sleeping on the couch tonight. Oh.
Nah, that would be too good.
She doesn't want to have to walk too far.
Oh.
Wow. Wow. Oh, yeah, I can see the emails now. Anyway,
Oh boy.
yeah, yeah.
They only get their own girl.
Uh-huh. So, so you graduated from this school now?
Yeah, I graduated from the school.
Good, good.
So yeah, I wanted to get into radio. That was the reason why I went. So I'm hopefully gonna get into radio and go that route for my career. So
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
And how do people get in touch with you? Through,
Oh, people can get in touch with me through talkingwiththesource@gmail.com.
okay.
They can get in touch with me to come on the show. They can get in touch with me just to talk. They can get in touch with me for anything. If you're struggling with something, give me a call or give me your email and I will respond to you immediately. And then I'll give you my number and, I'll do whatever I can to help you for sure.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And when did you started the paranormal circle, the Coventry?
Go Coventry Circle Paranormal. I started that. That was actually started at the house. It was started at the house, and I named it after the street that I lived on. So I lived on Coventry Circle, and I lived on one Coventry Circle in North Haven, Connecticut. And I was like, you know what, Coventry Circle Paranormal, because this house will mean everything to me. Because I haven't met a house or a place to investigate that has been as active as that house was.
Hmm.
So,
And now that you're out of there, do have you found out if it's still very active or other
well,
people?
I went back and I freaked out the new owners, the girls that live there. There's a bunch of girls that a family owns it for their daughter, who basically the school right down the street is Quinnipiac, and it's a very popular school in Connecticut. It's a very expensive school, and they basically the daughters rent it out with their friends. So I went there and I'm like, hey, do you have any activity? Because we saw this, and this here, and they were freaked out. They said no, they haven't experienced anything, and then they shut the door. But I'm pretty sure that I probably put that in their head. So hopefully I didn't scare the daylights out of them. Now that when they're in the shower, they probably hear every noise and they probably think of me. So I feel really bad about that, but you know what? I had to ask. So,
Well,
but
I
they
get,
tore, but they tore down the old garage that we had there, and I think the garage that was there had some significance to the activity of the house. So I don't know if maybe that might have weighed something in.
hmm. Yeah, it could be that, and it could also be that there was no fighting and
True. That's
yeah,
what I mean. The energy shifted there. So
right. Hmm. But I can't blame you. I would have gone back to find out.
yeah, I had to.
It's just it's impossible to not go back.
I mean, I
Yeah.
would, but everybody takes out a restraining order, so that makes it difficult.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Wow.
Well,
Boy, this is bad. You're gonna get those emails now. I can feel it. Uh, Lordy, Lordy. So, what else have you been doing in paranormal?
basically what I focus on now is spirit communication.
Okay.
I've been working with a bunch of people to try and create something more easily accessible for people and for the usage of spirit communication, for spirits to use. Very something easy for them to talk to, that's clear, and we've been coming up with ideas, and we've been taking a lot of different ideas from older stuff, from shortwave radios,
Mhm.
stuff along those lines, from Marcello Bacci, who was a famous Italian medium who basically used shortwave radio and had some of the best communication known to man. Um, the skull experiments we take from, which is another great thing. If you haven't seen the documentary, definitely check it out. It's on YouTube.
Mhm.
But I basically focus on spirit communication now as my main thing.
Mm, okay.
So,
And I heard you help with the global ghost hunt.
yes, I'm actually one of the admins at Global Ghost Hunt and one of the team leaders for investigations. And we actually just had our October event. It went extremely well. One of our pages alone, which this hasn't been said out loud yet, but one of our pages alone hit 149,000. So we were very happy to see that many people watching Global Ghost Hunt for the October event. That's just one page out of 8. So we
Mhm.
were very happy to see that. We grew from having 96,000 last year altogether on all pages to just having one page blast over 149,000 reaches, which was really, really cool. So we're growing tremendously. If anyone in the audience is a paranormal investigator or has a team, go to www.globalghosthunt.com and check it out. We have another one coming up in May and October every year, so definitely check it out. It's a great thing to have.
Mm,
So
good. Now, I heard it might be moved to April.
it's going to be. It's going to be April 25th through, I believe, May 5th. So we're going to
Right.
cut it back a little bit more than May, but normally,
It would
we
have
would
been
do it
May.
in May and October. But yeah, I still say May and October. But yeah, it's April 25th through May 5th, I believe it is.
He was
On the
looking
corner.
for. Yeah, I think they were asking about the veil. When was the veil going to be thinnest in April? So
Oh, okay. Okay. So that makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah.
We had an amazing team on this October, Ghoul Gang, and they caught some amazing evidence. And
Mm.
that's one that I would definitely go back and check out if you guys haven't checked it out yet. It was a live investigation, which was awesome, and they got some really great stuff live. So
And that's the good part about it because when it's live, you can't
yeah,
fight with the evidence
exactly. And
because they.
that's the reason why we did it. Is
Yeah.
we want to show authentic paranormal investigations. We want to show teams that are authentic, that are really going out to these places, that are really investigating, that are really doing the right thing. Because you
Mhm.
get all these people on TV and all these people on YouTube that are just jokes. They sit
Mhm.
there and they joke about this field. They sit there, they call everything a demon, like we were talking in back. And it just pisses me off. It pisses a bunch of us off. And we were like, we got to show the real deal, how it truly is. You're going to go to locations, you're not going to get a thing sometimes.
Mhm.
And that's just part of it, you
Right.
know? But
If they don't feel like talking, they don't feel like talking.
yeah, yeah. But to say that you go to some place every single time and get something, I'm sorry, that's not the truth, you know? But
Very true. Very true.
The only people that can do that are the people that can astral project there in advance and already get the clearance to come in and the invitation to come in from the entities. And there aren't a lot of those out there, but they do
no,
exist.
no, they do exist. They do exist. You're right. And that would be a fascinating way, obviously, to be honest, to get permission to go to those places. If you were able to astral project and go there, that would actually be a fascinating way to see if it would work. I'm not gonna lie.
It works.
Yeah, you do it.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's awesome. See, I wish I could astral project. I've done it once, and it
Mm-hmm.
scared the daylights out of me. But I did it by accident, so that was
Right.
probably the reason.
Right. Right.
But yeah, no, that's awesome.
But it's basically it's just training yourself to do basically the same thing like when you had your near death experience. You know, you see yourself traveling.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, she actually teaches a development class once a week.
yeah,
Oh,
mediumship
okay.
development. Yeah,
Oh,
psychic
well, I
medium.
gotta come to that. Yep, definitely.
That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we both come from the mindset that we're going into their house. And just as you wouldn't be happy if someone banged on your door and said, "Open up, I'm coming in," you
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
their
No.
house.
Yeah. Exactly. I totally agree with that. I
Yeah.
totally agree with that. Showing respect is the number one thing, and to show that amount of respect is even better. You know.
And there's no reason why you
Wouldn't.
right.
Yeah. Exactly. It makes me mad when I see people walk into a location and start screaming or, start provoking and stuff like that. It's like, I'm sorry, but if I'm a spirit and you're going to do that, I'm not even going to want to one talk to you, or I'm just going to want to really hurt you and
Mm-hmm.
just make you fear. So
Right.
it's like, I don't understand the whole point of it. I really don't. That's not the way that I investigate. It's not the way that I will ever investigate, because I look at, like I said before, I look at this like, those are human beings. Those are
Mm-hmm.
human beings without a body, and what kind of way would you want to be treated? You know. So,
Exactly. Exactly. So, so how did you get into the global ghost hunt, by the way?
well, I actually got into it. I was been friends with Brian for a while now. Brian actually called out one of our guests that we had on our show, and the guy that we were having on was pretending to be a medium, and come to find out, he was arrested for fraud. He was a huge thing, and they did a huge background check, and he was going around basically charging people money to fakely do readings and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, so luckily we didn't, luckily we found out, and we called him out, and ever since then, me and Brian were friends. And Brian came to me with this idea, and I said to Brian, there's already this company doing this, but they're failing at it. Let's do this. There's only one company in the entire thing. Let's get this going. And Brian took it and he made it into something absolutely amazing. And I was like, I want to be a part of that. So it was a cool thing.
Hmm. It's good because what brought you together was interesting. The
Yeah,
whole so the whole investigation. Yeah, there's a lot of people who love to fake things in
too many,
everywhere.
too many.
Yeah, it's like
Unfortunately, most of them only get together on Sundays.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to get those. Uh,
Oh, you're getting some emails.
oh, I'm getting emails. People just put in you know in the
That's the
words.
only day I'll go to a certain fast food place. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
Oh Lord. Uh, yep, yep. Well, good ratings, but oh man, am I going to get those emails? I can feel it now. I'll just I'll just forward to all of you, and you guys to decide what you're going to do with it.
Hey, that's why you hired the 600-pound gorilla.
Oh, 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 lordy, lordy, lordy. So, where do you want to go from here with your paranormal team and all that?
you know, I honestly don't think too much about it. I honestly let spirit decide that, to be honest. I'm not looking for fame. I'm not looking for clout or whatever they call it nowadays. I'm looking to just show people evidence who have an open mind, and say, listen, what do you think this is? And let them decide. And that's really my goal. It's just to show whatever I capture to whoever. And if they want to watch, they want to watch. If they want to believe, they want to believe. If they don't, they don't. I'm not here to try and force religion or force something down someone's throat. That's
Mhm.
not why I'm here. I'm just here to show people, like, listen, I experienced something, and I know that it's real. I think you guys should check this out and tell me what you think.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I could honestly say from my experiences of near death experiences, where I've also been zapped a few times.
mm,
Um,
Yeah, you don't want to freak out the people holding the paddles. That
no.
that I can tell you.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But yeah, I basically my experience was similar to yours. Got told no, it's not your time, and some of my ancestors pushed me back, and I'm like, come on, really?
I know. Oh, I know. It pissed me off when I came back. I was very mad. I was very mad. I was like, I did not want to leave, and I was very, very mad. I actually woke up in the hospital and I ripped everything out of my arms, my tubes, all that kind of stuff, and I literally just left. Like all the stuff that was in my arms, I just walked out of the hospital. They were pissed, but
Yeah,
I was like, I'm done. I'm not. I don't care. Like if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. But then after knowing that I wasn't gonna die, I was like, you know what? Screw all this. Like I'm gone. You know. But stupid me went back to my old ways immediately because I was terrified
right.
and I was running for myself. But when I finally, came to myself, I started to realize that I had these gifts, and I hooked up with a medium about 3, 4 years now. And she's been absolutely amazing. She's been teaching me things and how to control certain abilities and certain things that I have because I'm an empath and I have this ability where I pick up other people's energy and I hold on to it.
Hmm.
And it's really unhealthy because it could be a very depressive energy. And it's like I can get so depressed and it makes no sense to me still. But I mean, she's telling me, so I'm listening, you know?
The hardest thing to learn is that everybody has to do their own work.
Yeah.
And as much as you want to help people, they still have to do their work or not. You can't hold on to their energy. You can't do it for them. It's not
Yeah.
your energy, it's their energy.
Yep. You're right.
So it's
Doesn't happen often. They'll get used to it.
Yep.
You
wow.
see, I
You're
like that you're
speaking
going in,
truth.
I like that you're going into broadcasting, but as far as radio is concerned, you've got a great voice, but you're missing the one thing that I have that you don't:
Okay.
a face for radio.
Yes.
Thanks for agreeing with me. It didn't take him long. Did you notice that? Yeah, he was
Yeah.
right on that. Yeah,
Yeah. It's the truth. It's
it
the
is.
truth. It's the truth.
Oh, he's so bad. He's just
The
yeah.
truth.
Now, basically what he's saying is that in radio you can't see the person, and then in podcasts you can. And void pass or whatever it is. Podcast now they call it.
Yeah, podcast. Yeah.
Broadcast, yeah. It's like okay, all right. Oh, Brian is here.
Oh boy. Sorry, boss. They're playing, boss. See, the thing about radio is you might also want to consider doing VO work because when you do this stuff, it's all about your voice,
Mhm.
and the more people get to enjoy your voice, generally the more successful you have if you're still interested in radio.
Yeah.
But I don't know why you'd want to limit yourself to that. It's one thing if you want to do that as part of other pieces of the media, but there's so much out there now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm still on the fence of what I want to truly do, but I would like to just have some stable job at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I started with radio. But yeah, there is a lot of different stuff. I mean, right now, I'm not looking too shabby because I just woke up. But, normally I would fix myself up and look a little bit more presentable, you know.
Well, I mean,
But
what's the matter?
still,
Chippendales isn't hiring.
I mean, I tried, you know what I mean? But the ab board is just not there yet. You know what I'm saying? And they don't want the dad
Goals,
bod.
goals, baby. Come on.
I know. It's just they don't want the dad bod yet. You know what I mean?
You'd be surprised. It's
I know. I
Yeah.
know. I
Oh,
know.
I'm getting. Ah, I'm going to be
hey, if
sending
I
you
can do
guys
it,
all the emails. Oh
Yeah,
no,
this
you did.
episode is definitely
You
going
did not.
down in history.
Oh, 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 Brian, get me out of here.
help, Mr. Wizard.
Oh, you guys are. Yep.
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 I'm already getting it in the. Yes, I am going to get a lot of emails.
Yep.
Just remember, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Oh yeah. Well,
That's
oh
why
Lord.
God made the NSA.
Oh my God.
Me? See?
I'm just going in deeper, just deeper and deeper. I can't get out of here this hole right now. So, what exactly do you do for the Global Ghost Hunt?
Well, I am a team leader
Mm-hmm.
for investigations. So what I do is when a new team comes in, they'll email or they'll put in a whole form on the website, and that form will get sent to me. I'll contact them. I'll give them a welcome email. I'll send them the necessary documents that they need to sign to come over to Global Ghost Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I basically stick with them until the event, and I help them get their thumbnails out and do all that type of stuff, and send all the stuff to the other departments that need to be sent to get their certain things out there. And then I get to annoy Brian, basically. Uh, that's basically what I love to do. So
It's the great hobby, right?
great hobby. Yes, yes. Annoying Brian is the number one goal in Global Ghost Hunt. Number one.
Number one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, lordy, lordy. Yeah, I can see him emailing me now.
Yep, 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 yep. He'll be hitting me up after this, going, really, really.
It was great until now.
It was great until now. Yep, yep. See, yeah.
Oh, lordy, lordy. Um, so now that you have changed your life
Hmm.
and you made that shift, you, I'm sure, are starting to see now that this is where the path that you were meant to be in.
Yes.
Yeah. And you are now probably starting to tell when you're in the kind of, for diverting, and the spirits give you another nudge, come back over here.
Uh, don't even get me started. Yes, my guides are literally pushing me in directions that I do not feel comfortable with, but it's necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get you out of your comfort zone.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they always do it. If I am too comfortable in my comfort zone, they
Oh,
make sure to kick me out of my comfort zone. Make sure to do it.
well, that's how you learn, right?
Exactly, that's how you learn. You're right. I just hate it, but I love it at the same time. In the big picture, I love it, but when
Mm-hmm.
it's happening, I hate it. Yeah,
It's understandable.
you know.
Could have his interesting times, but
Yeah.
and and now, like, knowing that you have all these gifts, did you realize you had the gifts before you had the near death experiences, or did the experiences help you open them up?
Well, for me, I must have had them when I was a kid, which my medium medium I work with,
Mm-hmm.
when she did a reading on me, she talked about this time when I was younger, and it brought back a memory of me playing with this kid and this girl in this pink dress at my aunt's boyfriend's house.
Mm-hmm.
And we were playing hide and seek, and every time I would go to hide, the parents would always pick me up and go, "Why are you hiding in this cover?" And I'd say, "I'm playing hide and seek with your niece and nephew." And they would always say to me, "We don't have a niece and nephew." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. I know you have a niece and nephew. I play with them,
Mm-hmm.
whatever." And that experience made me realize, like, oh my gosh, I was playing with these ghosts, and I thought they were really their niece and nephew because they told me that,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really not, a real person. And I didn't remember that until years later, after speaking with this medium and having like these reoccurring dreams
Mm-hmm.
and all this kind of stuff. And I remember it because I asked my aunt, and she confirmed it, that I used to say it. And it's just, now that I had the experience and I had the near death experience, now it has amplified it back to where I remember stuff, if that makes sense.
Well, this is what Glenda helps a lot of people to understand, is that everybody really has the ability, but at some point it gets shut down.
Yes. Yes.
And, that's unfortunate because, you know, just because generationally people have tried to evolve in a way to assert their will over other people
Yeah.
doesn't really honor that child's ability or uniqueness.
Exactly. I totally agree. I totally agree.
And yeah, and unfortunately, not just a, when you're a child, it could even happen when you're an adult, where you're afraid to say anything because people may think you're crazy, or
I've
that
had that happen. I've
that
had that happen.
you're into devil worship and all that other stuff. And it has nothing to do with the dark side.
No. Can I say though that the gifts, they can be a curse at the same time as being a blessing? You
You
And
can
know,
say that, but you have to explain it.
yeah, I'm going to explain it. So,
Okay.
my friend last year, for example,
mhm,
I was over his house. His brother had come home. He had gotten into a fight with his girl that he was with. He had scratches on his face. They ended up like ruffling, scuffling, stupid stuff. And we told him, you got to get away from this person. They're toxic. You are toxic when you're with them. And we had this huge conversation. And all of a sudden, I started to sweat profusely, and I started to get this very sick feeling. And I had this knowing come over me. And I said to my buddy when his brother walked out of the room, keep an eye on your brother today. Something bad is going to happen. I don't know why, and I hate to say this, but just
mhm.
listen to me. Well, 45 minutes after I left the house, my buddy had gotten up out of his bed and he was going to go get a beer. And as he got up, something hit him and was like, go check on your brother. And he knocked on the door. And when he knocked on the door, nobody answered. And he had just heard his brother arguing with his girlfriend. So he knew his brother was in the room. And all of a sudden, he put his ear to the door and he heard gargling. So he kicked the door in because the door was locked. Come to find out, his brother was overdosing. He had snuck 2 bags of heroin inside the house,
Mm.
and he's been clean for over like 10 years. And he did both bags and he ended up overdosing. And if it wasn't for me saying what I said to his brother would have never checked, and his brother ended up saving his life that day.
So
But
how is that a curse?
because it's a curse, because if you don't say something, he would have
Mm.
been dead today.
Right, but you
So
did, and you wouldn't.
no, I did, but it took me a long time, because the reason why it's a curse because if you don't say something, I feel that that is on your conscience forever. That blood is on your conscience, for me at least. But I feel that it's a curse in the fact of, you could say that to somebody and somebody could look at you and go, you're a crazy mofo. I'm not going to listen to anything you're saying, and all this stuff like that. And I've had people do that and say to me like, what are you talking about? You're a weirdo. Get away from me. You know what I mean? And that's where it's a curse, because I've learned, like, if I don't say something and it happens, then I feel like it's on me. But if I do say it and then you don't listen, then there's nothing I can do. I did my part. You know what I mean? So that's where I feel the gift is a curse in a way. What do
Yeah,
you think? What do you think? Because I want to hear what you're thinking, because I know your wheels are turning, and I want to hear what you're thinking because I love your questions.
which one of us are you talking to? No, I know
You know.
you. You see, like I said earlier, between the two of us, you're looking at 120 years almost of experiencing. And, you know, it's an evolution. You know, nobody is born Edward R. Murrow.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
Yep.
And so if you try to say to yourself, well, all those other times I should have, you're dishonoring the journey. It's the
Mm.
journey that brought you to that moment, and that moment was yours. There's 8 billion people in the world. You're not here for all of them. And like
Yeah.
I said earlier, we all have to do our own work.
Yeah.
So, I go to the serenity prayer, you know, accept the things you cannot
Not
change
change
the things you
things.
can, and learn the difference.
Yep.
And make your peace with that. We all do the best we can.
I like that.
But that's the truth. That's how we live. I mean, Glenda gets woken up in the middle of the night. I was woken up in the middle of the night and called someone up I hadn't spoken to in 6 months, and I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I was about to rip the phone out of the wall and kill myself."
Wow.
And I was like, "Well, I heard you. So can we talk about this?" But
Yeah.
I didn't say no, don't, you can't, because it's still her free will,
Yeah.
and you need to keep that understanding and keep it real of what's yours and what's theirs. And you do what you can and you have certain responsibilities, but that person was 100 miles away, and I couldn't have gotten there in time, and I probably couldn't have gotten someone else there in time had I said to them no, and they said, "Oh yeah, screw you, watch me." So
Yeah.
you
No.
really
Yeah.
have to
I like
learn
that.
your limits and accept your limits. You're
I
not
like.
God. God is in us, but we're not God.
Yeah. I like that.
And all you can do is just say what you're getting. Just like, for example, when my parents passed away, I knew exactly what needed to happen before they passed away. So when the sequence started, I said, okay, I got 3 days from the first event to the time that they die. And I knew I had the 3 days and that was it. And then with my mother was the same thing. My father was the exact same thing. But what I did was I tried to tell the rest of the family, hey, we don't have much time. Oh no, they're getting better. We don't have much time. So if you want to see them before they pass away, you want to talk to them and you want them to know that you're there, you got to come now. You have maybe 2 days.
Wow.
And whoever didn't, then that was on them.
Yeah.
But um that's and I although it's not a curse, I could understand how you could say consider it possibly a curse because
Mm.
knowing when something bad is going to happen or knowing when somebody's going to die or something like that can be a little hard on the human body.
Well, if you take responsibility for it, and that's the key.
That's the key.
Right.
It's the
Everybody has to do their
responsibility.
own work, and all
Yeah.
you can say to someone is, "Look, I see you're having a hard time." I was having this chat on a social media platform with a group of bartenders about what do you do, when someone's obviously not well in the bar. And I said, all you can do is, say, well, it looks like you're struggling, and here's a resource that you might, be benefiting from.
Yeah.
And then it's up to them. And other people are saying, well, no, I tell them, yeah, what training have you had? I mean, I've had a tremendous experience as a mental health advocate, but I'm not qualified to diagnose. You got to
Yeah.
learn your limits, and you got to accept your limits, and you got to keep the ego out of it.
Mhm. I agree.
And with that, we got about 5 minutes left.
I like it.
Oh Lord. Is there anything you want to tell us that you haven't?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, other than that, if you want to check out my YouTube channel at Coventry Circle Paranormal, um, I show a bunch of clips of communication. Also on Talking with the Source YouTube, you could check out a podcast.
Mhm.
Like I said, our podcast before has well-known and local researchers that come on that you'll like. And other than that, that's pretty much it.
Now, are you at least working on the outline for the book?
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, not yet. But the memoir should come out,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
But you got to start. So let's start with the outline, because there's definitely a book in you that's going to be healing for people.
Right.
Okay.
There's
Thank
a
you.
lot of people with addiction that would
Yeah.
like to know how you found your way out,
Right.
and might help them.
I never thought of that, and I appreciate that.
Well, I do listen to you.
Well, no, I appreciate that.
But it's true, your story could help others, and
And that's what you're about right now.
Right.
That's why you're in the paranormal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. 100% right on the nail.
there you go.
that's why we get the big money.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Now, if we can just get it in a way that's spendy.
Right.
The accolades are great, but no.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Well, again, give us your email address, and this way people can get in touch with you. And there.
Yeah, no, my email address is talkingwiththesource@gmail.com. You can catch me there. You can also, like I said, if you are a team or a researcher, go to globalghosthunt.com, sign up. I'll also be able to get in touch with you there. Or reach out to just Coventry Circle on Facebook, or Talking with the Source on Facebook, and I'll be there. So,
And as we get closer to the next Global Ghost Hunt, you'll come in and help promote it, because Brian doesn't even answer my calls anymore.
Brian, I know. Brian, I tell him.
Oh, I'm going to get that email from him now.
Yep, you're getting an email from him. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It was
No,
great talking to you and having you here. And here we go.
Do stay with us once we sign out, so we can off gas a little bit.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
I don't know if you're paying attention, but we actually got an "oh my God" out of Brian. Right?
Right.
Yep.
My work is done.
Yep. That's awesome.
We'll see you next
See?
week. We love you all. Thank you.
Except you. I'm not crazy about you.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Have a blessed day.